Echo.
Someone's echoing.
But I think so this event is going to be mostly resume tips and networking tips, and then tomorrow we're also going to have a uh, review or resume review session with an alumni, and that's where it's going to be mostly one-on-one. If you guys want to do one-on-one and write on Tuba, you can do that today too. But I think it's mostly presentation today, and then tomorrow is going to be more reviewing resume.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll get started with the presentation. All right. Um, Hello, everyone. My name is Neriyah Butler. We have Tooba Hashmi, and today we're going to be having our Network 101 session where we will be helping you build a better resume. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over is the objectives for this presentation. So what we're going to be focusing on is we're going to learn how to format a modern resume. We're going to learn how to create a personalized heading, how to build a professional summary, add basic design elements to the resume, manage bullet points, lines, shapes, and utilize action words and PARs. Okay, so why does the resume design matter? So on an average, companies review 100 to 500 resumes for each job. Um, this large amount of applicants in itself causes managers to only have about like 5 to 10 seconds to review your resume. And it is for this reason that it's pretty important to make sure that your resume is able to stand out and tell the recruiters about you. So some things that you could be able to use is color psychology. We have like a chart on the right that says like what each color does. Like say blue represents tranquility, red can represent love or anger, so on and so on. And also, another thing that you can do is you can place emphasis on certain parts of your resume, so you can kind of like grab the recruiter's attention and see, okay, I see you did this. Can you tell me about that? But yeah, also, there's another tool that you can that I recommend that you look at called Overleaf. I'm going to go over that towards the end of the presentation, but I feel like it's a really good tool that you can use to help yourself stand out. Okay, how to stand out. Um, so some of the things that you can do is just keep it clean and simple. Make your resume visually unique. You can avoid generic styles, target your resume, and also use keywords. Keywords is an important thing to use because hiring managers, they use resume scanning software on your resumes for your applications. So because of this, a good idea would be to like search the job posting that you're looking at and find keywords in it. The things that you would be on the lookout for is, I guess, specific skills they want, which it would be like software, credentials, specific skills they want, things like that. And what not to do is don't use I or me in your resume. Um, I guess unless like you're talking about your experience, like saying um, during my time in this internship, I was responsible for this. I did this. That'd be an exception. Another thing that you shouldn't do is put your personal information on there. And from my experience, I've been told that putting your number on there is okay, it's acceptable, but you should not put your physical address on there because that's more so like a thing that they would do prior to email because they have to like mail out to people who send out their job applications like in the 90s and things like that. So there's no need for it now. Um, don't put photographs on there. Another thing I've learned too is that people can make assumptions, or I guess, yeah, they can make assumptions based on pictures that they see. Like maybe they see that you're a specific race, they might have some specific, they might think of stereotypes that impact your ability to, um, might impact your outcome of your application. Don't put references on there, and do not put your salary information on there. But now that we've seen things what not to do, we can go on and see how to create a modern resume. So in order to create a modern resume, the things you need to do is you need to keep it short and sweet, make sure it's visually appealing, well organized, well designed, and make sure it's not just fluff on your resume, but actually contains like facts, the thing that you actually did. Now, to go into the format, let's go over the types of resumes that you can pick. So there's 3 different types. The first one is chronological. This type of resume is the most common and traditional, as it lists experience and education. The reverse is for chronological. And for this specific type of resume, you should place the most relevant information on the top of your resume, like the 1/3 of the resume rather. And this type of resume is recommended for traditional positions, but not necessarily if you're trying to apply and you have employment gaps. Also, it's not the best form to use for students that are new to the workforce either. The next type of resume is functional. This type lists skills but not experience. It groups skills and achievements into different categories. And now this resume is good for if you did have gaps in employment and entering the workforce. But one thing to look out for is that it can scare off employees. And the last one is it's like a mix of between the two, between chronological and functional. Now, this type of resume is becoming the type of resume of choice. It shows achievements by categorizing your employments in like a chronological order. And the usual order for this type of resume is like a qualification summary, a skills summary, education, and your professional experience. And lastly, for the format, some guidelines that you can follow is to keep the margins to 1/2 inch or 1 inch. Use 2 pages at max. One thing I've learned, I'm pretty sure you should always keep it to 1 page, but unless you're like a grad student or you have experience in the workforce, then 2 pages is acceptable, but you should typically try to aim for 1 page. Keep the font at a black color primarily, at a font size 10 or 12, and try to use simple fonts. And also you can try to select at most like 2 accent colors. Like let's say for this resume right here, I want to have graphic designer, technical proficiency, or like other titles, like a color. Now I can make the titles of the resume, I guess, like blue or something like that, but just keep the details for your experience and whatnot, in black. Like keep the primary font in black color. Okay. Now for the resume header, so what you should do is put your name on there, your full name. You can put your objective for your position. I mean, not your position, your objective in general on your resume. It's not required. I've heard different recruiters say you can put it on there. I heard some say it's not really necessary. So it's not life or death. Make sure to give your email, your phone number, GitHub account. I don't really think your LinkedIn is required, but it won't hurt to put it on there. And also, like I said earlier, do not put your physical address on there. Okay, now next up, we have Tooba for education and the rest of the slides.
Guys, so for education, you always want to start off with what college you're currently going to. Have your list of majors, degrees in year. Especially when you're applying for companies or for jobs. If your resume is for something else like grad school or something else, it changes. Make sure you include the honors and the awards you've received. And if you're still in school, utilize the coursework that you do in your classes. So talk about the coursework you've done, any special projects you guys have done, any internships that you've applied to, have gotten and are doing, include any research or thesis, and include your GPA, but only if it's more than 3.0 and no more than 3 years post-graduation. You don't want to graduate in 2021 and then still be posting your college GPA in 2025. Cool. For the experience, make sure you only include relevant experience. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been reviewing someone's resume and they're applying for like a software engineering position and they have that they worked at, for example, Chick-fil-A in high school. Like, I know it matters. I know it does. I know it teaches you leadership skills, and I know every work has things that it teaches you. But if you've done multiple internships and you have multiple projects, you only have one page to give for your resume. So you only want to include the experiences that will help. So condense your part-time job information and do not list all of the duties on it. Just highlight your achievements. Like if your duties were for customer service, you can condense it and in fact add to it by saying that what you brought to the table could be something like increased customer service by like 200% or like something like that. And that will show that what you achieved, what you were doing, like customer service, and what you brought to the table, you increased it by 200%. Remember the PAR statement, which is problem, action, result. So the best method for experiences is if you focus on the accomplishments. Did you win an award? Did you implement a new idea? Did you increase sales or efficiency? What did you do? What was the problem? What you did about it and what it resulted in? And it's really, really beneficial to add quantifiable results like I was talking about. So instead of saying something like, brought new clients to the table, you can say doubled the amount of clients to the table. When I started working and I had my first internship, our clients we only had like 9 clients and then they became 18 clients. And so I could say I added 9 clients to the company, but it sounded more beneficial to say increased clients by 100% because it literally doubled. So you want to make sure you add words like that help quantify what you did. Some action words you can use are achieved, improved, managed, created, resolved, negotiated, launched, organized, decreased, reduced. And there's a whole list on the Cougar CS career website as well. And then words you want to avoid are words like go-getter, hard worker, extensive experience, innovative, motivated. Those are all good words, but they have been overused. So you want to make sure you're still unique, looking unique and fresh on your resume. One example of PAR is, for example, if your problem is that the website glitches and has ineffective flow, and what you did was you revamped the website and you fixed the bugs and improved user experience, your PAR statement would be used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because you're telling whoever you're giving your resume to what in particular you use to revamp the website and implemented numerous enhancements. That's what you did. That was your action. And the result was that it improved user experience. Only include the skills that are relevant, the most relevant skills for software and hardware. Do not list your hobbies, do not list your sports, do not list untested skills. Let's say you took one class in Python and you're not really experienced in it. You can't put it as experienced because the company will ask you questions. They will ask you how experienced you are and what language that you're using. So you don't want to write it on your resume and then go back and be like, oh, actually, I don't know it. That's like terrible to do. Also, do not include the number of years or ratings that you have with those skills and those systems. And then review your resume yourself. Is your resume organized? Is it easy to read? If a person has to squint to see it, probably not the best one. Are the colors and fonts all readable? Don't make it like the curly font where like everything is like a 4th grade girl writing in her diary. You don't want that to happen. Are all the dates in chronological order? This is something I always have to go back and double check right before I submit it because I have a really bad habit of just writing all of my skills and my experiences, but then not putting them in chronological order, which is really, really important to do. You always want to put the recent one first. Are there any spelling or grammatical errors? Does your resume use action words? Are the descriptions concise and simple? You don't want to bore the person to death with a 4-sentence summary or a 4-sentence text of what you did when it could be summarized in just 1 sentence.
Okay, so here's some of the resume building tools you can use. Overleaf, like I said before, you can use Microsoft Word or you can use Google Docs, which is something I've personally used in the past. And now I'm going to be talking about Overleaf again. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm advertising it or something like that, trying to get you to buy something. But I just genuinely think it's a really good tool because I just found out about it, and I'll just show you what it looks like in a minute. Okay, so with Overleaf, what you can do, basically you can choose from a variety of templates like you see right here. 1, 2, 3, and you can choose which one you like the most, and you can choose to like edit that template. And the way Overleaf works is like you kind of code out your resume, which kind of sounds extra, but it works out. It works like it's similar to HTML, but it's not HTML. like they have tags you can use that represents like a header, bullet points, a pie chart, things like that. Um, and it just really helps bring, I guess, life to your resume. And I'm going to show you my resume look like before I use Overleaf. And what it looks like after I use Overleaf. And you can see that it just looks much different, looks more lively, and it pops out. And I've been to a variety of resume reviews and career fairs and things like that. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on my resume. Not a lot of people know about Overleaf, and they're surprised to see that my resume looked like this. And I just feel like it'd be really good if you're able to use Overleaf to create your resume. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm just going to kind of show you what Overleaf looks like real quick, so you can kind of get a better idea of what I'm talking about. So hold on a second. Okay, I have it open. Wait a second. Okay, can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can see here that this is one of the templates that I chose from from the slide I showed you recently. You can see a Marissa Mayer, businesswoman, etc., etc. And if you go through here, you can see that all of this is just essentially code, and it's all the template's already made for you. Basically, all you really have to do is just look through. You can kind of play with it a little bit and see what does what. So I can change the code right here. I can compile it, and then you can see an update that'll be made. I think I put like the wrong color right here, but you get the general idea. Let's say I want to change my name to like Neriyah Butler. I can just change that. Say CS student.
What language is that? That's pretty cool.
Honestly, I don't know. I kind of just have to play around with it a little bit for me to figure it out. But yeah, I just think like we're playing around a little bit, you'll be able to figure it out and just effectively change it to match how you want it to be set up. But this is pretty much what Overleaf looks like. Like I already said, I think it's a really good tool that you should use to help your resume stand out. And on top of that, it's free. It's a free tool you can use, and so I just think it's a really valuable thing that you can use to for your application. All right, that's it for the presentation. And does anyone have any questions?
I had a quick question. So, what would you suggest? Say you have experiences and you have leadership skills, but if you add all of them, it goes over one page. What would you suggest you prioritize? Like, would you say I should put more experiences rather than leadership skills, or leadership skills over experiences, even if both of them sort of relate to the position and what you're applying for?
I feel like it'd be.
Oh, go ahead.
I personally feel like it'd be better to have more experiences, but companies do want you to have soft skills too. So it would definitely be beneficial for you to put your leadership skills. But I kind of think you should, I guess, like have like rank it, I guess, like that. Like rank the most significant experience or leadership positions you've had, and go from there to put that in your resume. That's my 2 cents on it.
No.
My 2 cents on it would be, if you're applying via a company like website, like the ATS system is there. So make sure you hit the keywords and you put your experiences in there. You can also put your leadership skills in there. Like I always like to add a line that says leadership, and I list all of the clubs or activities I'm part of, but just the titles or just the names of the organizations, so that I can go back, and if I get an interview, I can be like, by the way, I put this on my resume, and I elaborate on it, which companies really love because they like people with soft skills. So that helps you, because a lot of companies feel like they can teach you the hard skills and the technical skills, but they can't teach you the soft skills. They can't teach you leadership. You have to come with that. So you have to show it that that you do have leadership skills, and that you do have like potential to have different potential soft skills that you can develop furthermore. But a healthy balance is nice.
And what was it that you said? They have ATS system?
So an
Is that
ATS
the-
system is like an applicant tracking system. So like, I don't know if you've ever applied to like an internship or something and like automatically gotten like a rejection response like within an hour or like an hour or like an hour of the day.
Oh, okay,
So it's
okay.
basically the computer just reads your resume, like just the words in your resume, and if it doesn't if it feels like it's not a match for the job, it just automatically sends you that email. So the goal
Uh-huh.
to get the interview is to put enough words and, you know, phrase it as such that it gets passed through the system.
Yeah,
But
I
if I
have.
was like at a hackathon or if I was at like a career fair in person and I was just handing out paper resumes, then I would definitely include more activities because then I can talk to the person as well in person, you know, and be
Mhm.
like, oh, hey, this is my resume. By the way, if you look at the last thing, I'm director of like activities at Career CS or something. It's always good to include it.
Understood.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just have a question. So you said there are two types of resumes, right? The format, chronological and functional. Could you just go over one more time, what's the difference between the two?
Sure. So hold on a second. So like, with chronological, I just start with functional. So functional is more so you just mention like the skills that you have, but it's less of the experience. Am I unmuted?
No, no, you're
Okay.
fine.
Okay, good. I was talking to myself. But like functional is just more so if you're coming straight from like a not academic gap, an employment gap. But chronological is more so if you've been in the workforce and you have a good amount of experience that you can list off. But I think you should try to aim for like having like a mix between the two, like listing the skills that you have, the your education, your experience, all three of them. Because I feel like especially for students that are just coming out of the workforce, not workforce, out of school, and they don't have any experience in the workforce, it's a great benefit for them to mix all three of them together instead of just having like one or the other.
Okay.
For say you have an experience, like say you had an internship or a project that you worked on, how in detail would you want someone to explain what you did on the resume? Like, should it be, because I heard people saying it should be like 3 bullet points saying what you did. Is that too much, or do you think like is it 2 bullet points, like 1 sentence each? Like, what do you think about that? What would you say I do?
I feel like let me pull up mine. So what I did for mine is I basically stated like the problem. Well, I did PAR, like the problem that we saw, how we approached it, and like the result of it. And like for the 3 bullet points, I put like my specific roles, but I kind of have like a paragraph there where I talked about like the problem and our approach to the problem. I can kind of pull it up and we can take a look at it real quick. Let me see. Let me share my screen, make it easier. You see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, automate it. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Like, I listed, okay, that's more than 3. Yeah, yeah, my bad. I feel like as long as you can get your information to fit and you're able to get a strong approach, get a strong information across, like that you made it clear that you found a problem, you addressed it, and you showed like the impact that you had and like your specific roles, I feel like it's good. So yeah, I think that should be like your main focus. Just make sure you do PAR.
Yeah.
And then any other questions? No? Okay. Well, also, if you guys want us to check out your resume, you can always send it to us. We can always give you your input too. In addition to that, tomorrow we're going to be having an event where we're going to have an alumni talk about how to essentially how to network and how to talk to recruiters and career fairs and things like that, how to use LinkedIn. And during that time, we're going to be having we're going to have a breakout room. We're going to be having another alumni review your resume on the one-on-one session and give you feedback then too. So you can use either one of those resources to help build up your resume, get feedback. So make sure you take advantage of those opportunities.
They're really helpful. When I was applying for grad school, I also had the one-on-one resume review, and it was really good because I didn't know exactly what you need to have your resume target different companies and different situations, and like basically customize it to whatever you're applying for. And the person who helped me with that was really, really good at helping me with that. She like went through line by line. She was like, "This is what you should change. This is what you should keep." So I highly recommend it for everyone.
Yeah, another thing too. Also, I feel like I want her to do that in the career fair too. Well, at least like in the in-person career fairs, what I used to do is like I'll go to each different company. I'll just talk to them, give them my usual spill, and whatnot. And at the end, I'll ask for any, I guess, advice or things I should change in my resume, things they like. I'll take notes on it, and I guess like after the career fair, I'll make proper adjustments, make sure I've learned from it, and just just grew from the experience. So make sure you try to just get the recruiter's feedback on things you should add to the resume, what they liked about it, and just learn from there too. Because that'd be really, because like you'll be talking to the person who's going to be looking at your resume. So it'd be really good. It'll be a really good opportunity to take advantage of that situation. All right, if there's no more questions, then that's it for the event. I'll stop recording.